people that are using vermisolution, which is made by Bioliquid Development, you could start at the letter A and go through to the letter Z in the alphabet, from avocados to zucchinis. Any crop that grows, and I mean any crop, whether it's pasture, passion fruit, you name it, if it grows from the ground, then the microbial action of the vermisolution, which is introduced into the ground by the liquefied worm casting, will create a soil life, a microbial soil life in the soil, which is available to the plants, readily available to the plants. Now, the Soil Food Web Institute did a test on this product a little while ago. Their testing takes around about 10 days. On day 6 they rang up quite excited early in the morning, where the head scientist had called all her staff in to the laboratory, very excited, saying, "We've never seen a product like this before. It has a natural inoculum in the product, which is an inoculum for just not the soil, but also for the plants, and it's also instantly available for uptake from the plants. In each milliliter, there's approximately 5 million beneficial colony-forming bacteria. There's also approximately 5 million beneficial colony-forming fungi. That microbial life in your soil does create plant health. Now, that plant health doesn't matter whether it's your home potted plant, your herb garden, your vegetable garden. You will find that you've got a better tasting vegetable, you've got a better nutrient in your vegetable. The lasting effects of vermisolution are quite immense. I've had some amazing challenges from farmers that have rung me up and said, "I've got a serious problem." One comes to mind in the Hauraki Plains, and he had bought an old war farm of 110 acres, which is near a dairy company. The dairy company, when the old chap had walked off his land and no one had been there for 18 months, they'd poured all their whey onto the land, and when I turned up, he'd tried all sorts of products to try and get his farm productive to grow pasture for his cows, for his dairy cows. It was like brown concrete. I thought, this is a bit of a challenge. Anyway, cut to the chase, we started off at 50 litres to the hectare of vermisolution, and we actually applied it with the moon, remembering that the moon has a cycle, and 10 days prior to the full moon, plants, trees are uptaking their nutrients, and after the full moon, they're pushing back down, which is the time when you prune. So we applied the vermisolution prior to the full moon at 50 litres to the hectare. He is now on a sustainable rate of 20 litres to the hectare every 6 months now, and he is the highest producing dairy farm in the Hauraki Plains. Well, going back to your traditional fertilisers, in the 1930s, this country was, as we would call it, organic, because we had no chemical fertilisers as such. After the Second World War, we had an excess of chemicals, i.e. bombs, etc., which are still produced today in the form of fertiliser. Now we're seeing the negative side of the superphosphates and the high nitrogen inputs flowing back through the soil structures and now into the waterways. With the vermisolution, there is no problem with waterways. It is a sustainable fertiliser. Vermisolution is 100% natural product. It is certified organic. There is nothing unnatural about the product whatsoever. The home gardener or the commercial user can go out there and put their hands into the product. We don't have to wear masks, gloves, suits, respirators. In fact, the chaps in the helicopters love it. Basically what I do is I get my vermicast, which is the product of a worm's bum. The worms are fed a variety of organic food. For example, today they have just been fed ocean kelp, and they munch their way through the variety of food that we feed them, and they produce their casting. So we make the product with the water that we have up at Pies Pa, and our water is 550 years old, from a spring. It's pure, it's natural. It is mixed in a particular fashion, and in the southern hemisphere it's mixed in a clockwise direction, which is an energizing direction. It's rather the biodynamic type cycle. The product is then left to settle, and why it has to settle is because if it's going to go into a foliar feed, we need the sediment to drop to the bottom of the tank. There is no wastage, however, because at the bottom of the tank, when we have that sediment situation, that will go out into avocado growers or to crop growers who have trees, and that is put from the trunk out to the drip line. It's a no-waste process. When you receive your vermisolution product in your 1,000-litre pod, 200-litre barrel, it has clear instructions on it that the lids are to remain off, it is to be kept in a cool and dark environment, and to be used almost immediately. Now, the reason that you use it almost immediately is because it is alive. And the best thing to do is to apply the product not in full sunlight, but between the hours of 5 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning, until you get a high UV rating, because high UV ratings will kill your bacteria and your fungi, or they'll damage them. So you can then apply it after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if it's a sunny day, or you can apply it in rain, drizzle, in the evening, early in the morning when there's dew. What we're doing is using the water, the rain, the dew, or whatever, as a transportation agent to take the product into the ground, the microbial life into the ground. Yes, we do create a greater carbon sink by the microbial life that is put into the soil, which the plant uptakes and creates a healthier plant, and therefore it can create a greater carbon sink, whether it's pasture, whether it's a crop, or whether it's a tree.